Hello and welcome back to Lies in the Sky. I found myself in an interesting conversation with a Christian lady the other day. She said,
"What if you're wrong? What if God does exist? I'm not saying it's likely, but I have nothing to lose believing there is one. You, on the other hand, will go to hell if you're wrong. Do you really want to take that chance? Believing is just safer."
What she is referring to is known as Pascal's wager. It was initially the main reason I wouldn't dare to doubt my religion. Pascal's wager was named after the French philosopher and mathematician, Blaise Pascal. Allow me to explain. The logic of the wager goes, God either exists or doesn't exist. You thus choose to believe, or not. If the religious man is wrong and the atheist is right, it has no effect, nothing happens. But, if there is a God, the atheist will burn in hell for eternity. The religious man, on the other hand, will receive the eternal life and all he desires. It is thus, according to Pascal's wager, much safer to believe, or at least to learn to believe, wrong. Fallacy, fallacy, fallacy. The problem with this argument is that it makes a lot of assumptions. Firstly, it assumes that there is only one true God. This simply isn't true. The number of possible gods, even if the theist is right about there being a God, is infinite. Yahweh, Elohim, Allah, Juno, Ellen, Jehovah, Thor, Ra, Krishna, Zeus, Apach. Which one is it? Each one of those deities, and most other, will send you to hell if you believe in any other god. What if you choose wrong? The wager assumes just two possibilities, with a 50-50 odds. The odds are actually split into infinite parts, making this wager impossible. The next assumption made is that the ability to believe can be altered. It is assumed that a person can just decide to start believing. Even if that was possible, it implies that a God would be satisfied by a fake belief. It also cannot be reasoned that faking the belief would be satisfactory, as an all-knowing, omniscient, omnipotent God would know you are not a true believer. If that isn't enough, it makes a few more false assumptions. The next assumption it makes is by far the worst and most incorrect. It states that an atheist has nothing to lose by believing. I disagree. I have a huge deal to lose. I would in fact argue that you are losing more by being religious than you do by not believing in a God. Allow me to explain. The things I stand to lose by believing: 1. I praise an evil God. Not my words, yours. Isaiah 45 verse 7, King James Version. I form the light, and create darkness, I make peace, and create evil, I, the Lord, do all these things. 2. I lose reality. The supernatural is not logical, not within science, untestable, undetectable, blind and not real. I cannot force myself to believe something like that. 3. I have to carry the thought that everyone believing differently burns in acid for eternity. Enough said, I believe. 5. I will have to become close-minded about matters such as evolution and homosexuality. I am not allowed to question reality. I lose my being. In right, according to the Bible, I won't be able to beat my slave to death. Only if he dies 3 days after. I could go on, but I believe you understand why I say that I, in fact, have a lot to lose. That part, a pillar of the argument, is thus incorrect. And lastly, the wager assumes that there is a self-evident reason for rewarding blind faith. Why is the faith of a believer better than the personal courage of the disbeliever that leads an outstanding life? Hopefully, you can see why the wager doesn't trouble me as an atheist. It really isn't that I don't want to believe, I just don't want to be deceived. Another problem I find with the wager is that it assumes that Christian afterlife is possible. If you were tortured for 10 times as long as you've been alive, would you be you anymore? How about after 1,000,000 years? 1,000,000,000,000? At some point, one would expect that your mind would either break, or get used to it. Probably both. Either possibility precludes the experience of infinite regret and suffering. A fun little experiment is to reverse the wager. Replace Pascal's Judeo-Christian God with a perverse God that punishes those who believe in him without evidence, and rewards those who don't. Note that this doesn't even presuppose that the Bible and other holy texts are not divinely inspired. This God could have authored them to serve as a test of credulity. Helpfully, this reversed argument gives you something to think about. Maybe you should convert to atheism, in case you're wrong. I think I've been rambling for long enough. I made my point. Once again, decide for yourself. And feel free to comment below. Don't forget to click share, like, and subscribe. Until next time, stay real.